So that is the secret of having the secret to unlocking equal opportunities. So the secret is that you are part of the thinking class. The secret to unlocking equal opportunities. The secret is that you are part of the thinking class. Okay? You're welcome. Okay? So don't worry, Mr. Victor. Who can help me attend to Akanimo? Come and help me attend to daddy here. Thank you so much. So don't worry, don't attend to you. Thank you so much. So, and we are looking at about 6 outlines for this section. Okay. Okay, good and fine. I need markers. I don't know who can help me out. But Daniel, meet Deborah, get me markers. I don't know. I told her to fix it for us. So it's very, very interesting. And I'm very sure that this morning we are talking to entrepreneurs, talking to investors, talking to businessmen, men who look at their life and said, I am where I am today, but I can do better than where I can do better than today. So we have about 6 outlines. Let me see how far we can go. So the first one is called context for the concept. Context for the concept. Okay. Then the second outline, an ancient trait. Okay. The third one, the thinking class. And the fourth one, we are looking at the factory school system. And number 5, second to the last one, equal opportunity that everybody have. Okay, and the last but not the least, the art of conversion. Okay, so we started the class from the context for the concept. So we said that the context for the concepts, those who think with their mind and of course communicate with their mouth will always be paid more than those who work with their hands. So if you are working with your hand for a living, without not thinking, without not communicating effectively, life will always pay you less because effort is a common denominator, knowledge is a differentiator. So everybody make effort, but most people don't think before they make effort. So those who think with their mind, communicate with their mouth, will always be paid more than those who work with their hands for a living. That was the context for the concept. That's what we established. And we went ahead to talk about the ancient trade. We said the ancient trade simply means that you have to trade the invisible for the visible. So that is to say that everything that you see that is visible today is out of the visible world. So you have to trade, of course, for every cause there's an effect. So every cause there's an effect. That is the ancient trade. And for every, of course, root or what you call seeds are give birth to fruit. So you cannot be telling me for every, of course, how do I put it on my note? Every source there's a supply. So every source gives birth to supply. So the ancient trait is that you have to know that all the ideas give birth to items. All the thought give birth to things. So that's what we discussed last week. And every spiritual give birth to the physical. So every spiritual give birth to physical. And number 7, you have to use wisdom to get everything you ever want in life. So, and one of the things that helped us was we look at that. It says that in the book of Proverbs 4, 7 to 9, it says something very interesting. It said that wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. With all thy gettings, get understanding. Exalt her. Reason is because she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou express her. She shall give thy head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory, shall she deliver to thee. So people that understood life, understand the trade, they said that wisdom is more important than money, riches, houses, cars, land, status, fame, name it. So for a man to actually have the things he wants, he has to know how God answers prayers. God will give you thoughts. God will give you ideas. So you act on the idea, you can actually trade it. That's when you can have the results you actually want. So We said that if you give a man fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him how to fish, give him a boat, give him a net, give him the skill set, you teach him, you feed him for a lifetime. So, and we also discussed about the ancient trade that everybody have equal opportunity if you actually understand certain things about yourself. That whatever you call knowledge is simply packaged information tailored to solve a problem. So if you can get access to information, you can actually, that is packaged, you can actually give you that result you are looking for. So what you call understanding means that you can explain. That's what we discussed last week. For those that just joined us today, whatever you can understand, that means it means explanation. So if you don't understand it, you cannot explain it. So when you said a man is wise, it doesn't mean that you can apply whatever the information you were given to. It means application. So we established so many things last week. We said that if you prioritize the cost of physical material success, then you will always have the endless supply because you take possession of the source. So that took us to the thinking class. That a man supposed to be part of the thinking class because a man's role was actually to think and talk. That is the first job description God gave man. Because Adam's job was a thinking role. He never sow or reap because God planted the garden. His work was not to plant or harvest, it was either to dress and categorize, label, give names, give names, give assignments and roles to every works of God's hands. It was not to hunt or kill. How are we so sure? We looked at it from, of course, Genesis of 2:9 to 10. And then it simply said that out of the ground, the Lord God formed every beast of the field and the birds of the heaven and brought them, of course, and brought them unto the man to see what he would call them. And whatsoever man called every creature, that was the name thereof. That means Adam's word was to think and say, this one is a lion, this is your frame of assignment, this one is a goat, this is the frame of your assignment. His word was to think and talk. And why did God do that is because we also established, we have been talking over and over again, that God created three things in Genesis. Number one, he created the creation. So how are we sure he created the creation? He said, let there be light. And there was light. That was what he did. So, and when he came to creatures, God did something very interesting. He spoke to the creation to create the creatures. He said that, let the earth bring forth its kind, and let the water bring forth its kind. So God spoke to the creation created the creatures. But when it comes to man, the creator, he said, let us create man in our image and likeness. That means man is supposed to be, the image of God is natural, the likeness of God comes through training. The image of God is natural, the likeness of God comes through teachings, through training, through mentoring. So for a man to act like God, like a creator, he must be trained, he must be taught. That you know how to talk doesn't mean that you can communicate effectively. So it's a skill. So all of us are supposed to create, and that what did God create? He uses, God thought, God think about it and speak. So he told us in John 1 that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God, and nothing that was made without him. That means everything that God ever created, he uses words. So men that uses their words actually create their life. And in the face of men, that will always tell us, there's only kings and slaves, kings and subjects. When the kingdom of God is King of kings, Lord of lords. So in life, you see, every empire has been built by slaves and subjects with the order of a king. So you that must take the rightful place as a king, you must be thinking, because once you keep thinking and communicate effectively, life will always pays you more than those who work with the hand. Be part of the thinking class, because you see, your original man, the authentic man, his role was to actually think and talk. So the paradise of God's intent, purpose, and plan of God for man was that a man should be part of the thinking role. It was the fallen man that God caused the ground and told him, and out of the sweat of your face will you eat for the rest of your life. Originally, it wasn't supposed to be so. Man left the thinking of class to working with his hand just to survive. So we said that survival is very, very important, but beyond survival, become successful, because if you depend on what God gives you, the natural things God gives you, you can survive. Natural circumstances, they help you to survive. They not survive. But for you to succeed, you must be able to turn the natural things into the things you want. You also use your mind, of course, your imagination, to turn the trees into tables and chairs. So it's going to take what God gives you naturally and use your mind to think them, to creatively turn them to. That's where you can succeed. So you can actually succeed in life. So for you to be able to be successful in life, you must be able to turn the natural things God gave you, of course, into the things that you actually want. So it takes your creativity, it takes your imagination, it takes you to think, because thought are things. You cannot travel far within and remain still without. So for a man to be able to become successful in life, his mind is supposed to take him to any place he wants to go first, before his body takes him there. People that their body takes them before their mind takes them, they struggle in life. There is no limitation to what you can think. You can stay here right now and imagine it. You can stay right now, imagine your house. You can stay right now, imagine your church, imagine everything. There's no limitation to how far your mind can travel. Just sit down and use your mind to imagine, to create, to think, to mentally arrange your life so that you can actually experience the fullness of your plan and purpose for God for your life. You are part of the thinking class. Your mind will take you to anywhere you want to go to first before your body takes you to, because your five senses, your body, your hands, your legs, are all instruments and vehicles of your mind. But if you don't travel with your mind first, you travel with your body, you would end up where poor people end up. Poor people always travel with their body to where their mind has not taken them to. How am I so sure? They always congregate. They can be passing and they see where they're doing wedding reception, they will branch. Because they see that sharing rice. Poor man's problem are always food. You see that see the pamo, they enter. They are not invited, they will enter. That's why they always congregate, where wealthy men assemble. So looking at it, to reflect God, we must think and share our thoughts. That's how it works. So how am I so sure that even the fallen man that uses his mind to think and share his thought can still be in an empire? You can see that our insatiable appetite to create and our limitless capacity to create fundamental differentiators from all animals. That's why we are not just creatures. We are actually the creator of our life. Tell them, I'm a creator. So God actually reveals to us that we are all God's masterpiece, a piece of the master. That it doesn't matter whether you are born again or not. That the only good thing about you are born again, you'll be rapturable. That's a good thing. But now, whether you are born again or not, you can build an empire. We saw that when God revealed to us, when men were building tower, he said, for whatever these men have decided to do, and they have one language, nothing can stop them from doing that. So anyone who fails to think and communicate his own idea for the purpose of materializing it will be subject to his environment, and he will never be a master, and that is a big challenge. Even the fallen man can create. I already said that. Even when the fallen man can have the power of imagination and entertain new ideas to create kingdoms, empires, cities, powers, companies, and even platforms, of course. So looking at it, we also went to talk about the factory school system. I think we stopped there last week. We stopped when we talked about the factory school system last week. So we have to continue from here. If I'm excited about today's class, shall I? Is that where we stopped last week, Friday? We've not started it at all, right? Okay, so I'm very correct. So we just start from there. The factory school system. Why, the reason why the people are not leaving the thinking class to the factory school system is because of the conspiracy of the rich. So when we left the agricultural revolution, we needed men to work in our factories and industries. Mr. George, sir. Hello, sir. Mr. George, please help me with this one. Thank you so much. So the reason why it's happening like that is because those days they were in agricultural economy. We needed slaves that will help us cultivate our farmlands. Because those days was that the bigger the farmlands you can cultivate and the cattle you have, the more richer and wealthy you become. So when the revolution came, when the men that built America, John D. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Henry Ford, they now sat down and said that we are going to build factories and companies, the railway, of course, the booming oil wells of the capital oil, and so many other things that happens in the industrial revolution. So we needed a school system that can actually train men who will work in our factories, who work in our companies, so we need different set of slaves that will be obedient, that will follow instructions. So we are going to intentionally remove some school curriculum, from school curriculum, so that it will now be taught in school. So that they will never harness the part of their imagination, the part of their leadership, the part of investment. So we're going to teach them some subject, that's what they call discipline of study. So when you finish this particular set of discipline, of training, of exams, of quiz, you actually arrive at a place where you can actually not be able to harness your part of your thought. You simply follow simple instruction. You call it job description. Come to work, do this, come to work, do that one, do this one for 35 years, and then we'll retire them. They will end up building our factories and corporation. It was a conspiracy, and it's written down for me and you to sit down, to read, to understand what actually happened, that man left the thinking class to where he can actually depends, working with his hand, and never become fulfilled in life. So let's begin to look at some of the things I wrote down so they can actually go back to think about it and start taking charge of your life, because he who controls your source of income controls your life. Tell your neighbor, he who controls your source of income controls your life. Write it down. The Industrial Revolution created demand for manpower. That's what the school system does. The Industrial Revolution created a demand for manpower. The Industrial Revolution created a demand for manpower. And the digital revolution where we are today has created a demand for mind power. So let me clean some of these things down. I shouldn't have cleaned this, but I have to. So the Industrial Revolution created a demand for manpower. That's what happened. But today, we have to understand that the digital revolution created a demand for mind power. That means we must go back to where we come from, the thinking class. So they're two different things. In my generation, we need to take charge. We need to take back. We need to be the power of we need to take back the power to become the ultimate version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. So what happened was that Industrial Revolution, we don't need your imagination, we don't need your creativity. The more you work, you want to earn more, work more. Over time, extra pay. I always tell you that if what you do demands you to work more, to earn more, it's called menial job. If what you do demands you to think more, to learn more, to earn more, it's called executive job. So leave the menial job to executive job. That is what is demanded of my generation today. The generation today reward those who is thinking than those who work with their hands. So write it down your note, very important. Imagination and creativity was the very thing that the school system was designed to suppress. Imagination and creativity was the very thing that the school system was designed to suppress. So what was designed to suppress? The school system, the Industrial Revolution, the factory schools was designed to suppress two things: your imagination and creativity. And that's what's needed today. You can see those that use their mind and their mouth makes more money in today's economy than those who work with their hands. That is why you can see, because even your hands are actually the instruments of your mind. Even the painter might be painting with his brush, but he's actually communicating the picture of his mind through his hands. Even the carpenter might be nailing with hammer and chisel and nails, but the truth is that he's actually communicating his thought, of course, with his hands. So, yet imagination and creativity was the very thing that the school system was designed to suppress. That your mind is useless, don't use it, just follow instruction, carry this file from this office to this office for 30 days, we'll pay you money. And you know what happened? No matter how much you work for money, you cannot be fulfilled in life, because money doesn't fulfill what it promises. Money is a bad master and a loyal servant. But for money to work for you, you must take back your charge as a king, assume responsibility, stewardship and authority over money, to discipline money. Otherwise, money will actually fly away. Money will rebel. So understand that imagination and creativity was the very thing that the school system was designed to suppress. In the industrial age, they needed mass production of manpower, labor force, those that will use their muscles, strength to operate the equipment. This was the demand. But the industrial age created a demand for manpower, while the digital age created a demand for mind power. I want you to understand that in today's world, machines are replacing people's job. And of course, even the job of 10 people yesterday, one person can do it. Now, the worst is even about to happen. AI is taking over a lot of things. The worst is about to happen. AI is taking over a lot of jobs. So if you don't want to use your mind and your mouth to make money today, I always tell you, if you don't use your mouth to talk, you use your mouth to beg. You end up becoming slaves and subject to people who have developed the power of their mind and the power of their words. Write it down in your notes, very important. The school system was designed to mass produce a worker. The school system was designed to mass produce a worker, a slave class, or a working class, not a thinker or in the thinking class. The school system was designed to mass produce a slave class or a working class, and never a thinker in the thinking class. Never. If you understand this revolution, you're going to change the table for you. The school system was designed to mass produce a working class or a slave class, people that follow instructions, and never a thinker in the thinking class. Never. That wasn't the plan. And they are doing very good job. I like them. They are very, very faithful, religious, dedicated, committed to do their job. Because me too, I want to own university one day. So I like it. So the school system was designed to mass produce a slave class, an obedient class, not a working class, and not a thinking class, a thinker in a thinking class. That wasn't the plan. So the school system, the whole objectives was that they should produce people for me and you to employ. So you must be that CEO to employ people to work for you. Month will end today. Yesterday, I started paying my staff salary. By today, I'll finish paying all of them. I like it. I like to pay people salary. I have 15 staff working for me. I want to increase to 40 to 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000. That's what I'll do. So I'm happy to let you know And before 25th of the month, all of them are all broke. Most of my staff that are broke before 25th of the month. One of my friends said job simply means journey of the borrowers. You can imagine that. They're always in debt all the time. Always struggling with money. Poor man problem is always money. Instead of just thinking about value, turn of value. So the whole thing about the working class, it was never to make you have fulfillment. Was to actually put you to manage whatever you have and never to fulfill you. So the school system was designed to mass produce a slave class, a working class, and not a thinker in a thinking class. But I'm here to let you know today that you are more than where you are. You just, if you can harness the power of your imagination to think and create your life for the purpose of connecting and contributing to improve the world, making impact and leave the world. Money will follow you. Money is a slave of value. Money is a reward for solving a problem. Money is a reward for making impact. Money is a reward for being significant. Rise on, very important. The school system was designed to mass produce manpower, people who depend on job. Repeat the statement, don't mind me, just repeat the way I write it down. The school system was designed to mass produce manpower. That was the purpose. The school system was originally and intentionally designed to mass produce manpower, people who depend on jobs, depend on people that will tell them what to do. The school system was designed, number one, to mass produce manpower. Number two, people who depend on jobs. Number three, people who depend on what people will tell them to do. Brackets open, job description. Without thinking. We don't need your thoughts. Why are you thinking? Why are you telling me what to do? Do what I ask you to do. That is the most important thing. The school system was designed to mass produce manpower, number one. Number two, people who depend on jobs. Number three, people who depend on people who tell them what to do. Brackets open, job description. Number four, people who will take a course and then go to work on the production line. That was number four. Number one, the school system was designed to mass produce manpower. Number two, people who depend on jobs. Number three, people who depend on what people will tell them to do. Brackets open, job descriptions. Number four, people who will take a course and go to work on the production line. That's what. So they were to move products monotonously from belt to belt without not thinking. So it's totally a jobber package. So I always tell people, it's not, these guys are not doing bad thing. School is not scam. School doesn't hate you. They have a plan and purpose and are doing it very well. So allow them. We are creating a system whereby we have a business learning community where we teach you how you can become a CEO, become the boss, and become to employ all these people that is mass produced. They must work for me and you. See, in this life, you don't have to be offended. There will always be a king and a slave. There will be a CEO and a subject. So why are you angry? Just don't say, I don't like where I am. I want to be the one that will pay the salary. Check it now. It's a matter of choice. Even God told you, life and death I've given unto thee. Why are you now complaining that my boss is wicked? No. Do you think it's easy for someone to use his mind to create a company, use his mouth to gather people to work? I tell you, you can do it. So why are you not, since you don't want to do it, why are you complaining? I always tell you, thinking is the hardest habit poor people don't do. That's why they complain all the time. Blame and justify. If you don't want to be complaining, in fact, the more you complain, the more you tell the world how weak you are. Weak people complain. Strong men take the situation back. I told you, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Don't be weak in this world. This world is already strong. It needs me and you to become stronger. Tell them I am stronger.
I am stronger.
That one is begging for the charge card. Touch yourself, say I'm a success.
I'm a success.
You can do better than that. Touch yourself, say I'm a millionaire.
I'm a millionaire.
Don't allow anybody to tell you less. Don't allow someone to come and make you think that you're a slave, that you're born into slavery, that you're told to serve men. I don't have a problem working, but don't work for money. You can work for knowledge, work for experience, work for relationship, work for experience, work to know more, but not for money. I don't like somebody working for money. When your purpose, your driving factor is money, you've misplaced priority, and no matter what, you cannot be fulfilled. Let your driving factor be something bigger. Let it be for fulfillment, significant. Let it be for a purpose, not for money. Money is just a reward. So it was designed to mass produce a jobber, a voluntary slave, an obedient slave, a hardworking slave, and a less thinking slave. That's what it's designed to do. Write that one before we leave that class, because I'm going to something very important today. Write it down. The school system was designed to mass produce a jobber. The school system was actually designed to produce a jobber. Number one, a jobber. Number two, an obedient slave. Obedient. If you don't do, I'm going to sack you. Yes, sir. Because of that, you say obedient. Follow, see, your work maybe to come sweep this hotel, clean the floor. It was a jobber, obedient slave, hardworking slave, hardworking slave, hardworking slaves. They always do hard work. A voluntary slave, so voluntary slaves. So now you will carry your hand now. Voluntarily, this is not agricultural slave trade that will beat you. This will not carry your hand. After we teach you finish for 4 or 5 years, we will make sure that you carry your hand and write a letter. Please, I humbly apply to become a manager, an accountant, a receptionist. Please buy me wholesale. Buy me wholesale and retail me every month, small. Every month they pay me small. So imagine that. You know how you normally buy a bag of rice and you carry cup and be retailing it. So you buy somebody's time, buy his energy, buy his effort, buy his intellectual property for 30 days and you're paying him small. Tell us small. For 35 years. And then you retire him. That time he's out of use. He cannot be useful to himself, even to society. And then he come back and start looking at, he's not fulfilled in life. It's not about making money. It's about where is the ladder leaning. If you lean on the wrong wall, if you climb to the top, you find that there's nothing there. My mother worked for this government for 35 years. She's retired. She's still not happy with herself because these 7 years she retired. Akwa State government has not paid retirement benefit to primary school teacher for the past 7 years that I know. Since our governor passed, we don't pay the first this thing. He not pay the second thing. So looking at it, it was actually designed to actually mass produce jobber, voluntary slaves, an obedient slave, hardworking slave, and a less thinking slave. Less thinking. We don't need you to think. Think less. Less thinking. Just come and follow instructions. Just come and carry this thing here. The way I tell my security men in my house, all those gate men, your work is not to think. Every morning as I'm driving out, open this gate. As I'm coming back, you close the gate. That's his job. So you sit at the gate morning till night, just to open gate and close to collect salary. Sometimes I carry book and give to one of my security men. Say, please read this book. It will help you. So, okay, hate that open book. Sleep will carry me headache. Okay, I get headache. I look at me, fit. How people work with me. So I tell them, see, working with me will not make you a millionaire. I will never pay you salary to become a billionaire. Your salary was just to manage your property. So would you rather work for me or work with me? They say, okay, this one will they pay us every month. Now sure pass. This one, okay, if I can't work with you now, I know sure so I'm going to see monthly salary. Do you know why he's thinking like that? He have been brainwashed for 4 or 5 years that your job is to work for salary. That just to work for a peanut. Peanuts. I cannot pay you money to be a billionaire. I cannot pay you money. I will not even pay you more than 10% of your effort. That means for me to pay you 100,000 naira, for me to pay you 100,000 naira, I must use your brain and make 1 million naira. 1 million naira. I don't pay you more than 10% of your effort. So that's why anybody employed, I'll tell you have 3 months. Don't worry, I've seen you, Mr. Victor. I know. Go and sit down. Thank you, sir. I'll tell you that you have 3 months probation. How many months probation? 3 months. So that after that 3 months, I go look whether your brain feed make me the kind of money I'm going to pay. If not, I will sack you. I will just find 1 month excuse. You did not come to work early. Go and answer query. 1 month suspension. From there, you go to your father's house. Yes or yes? Yes. So I'm telling you, leave that class alone. That is not where you belong. Say, no, I belong to the thinking class.
I belong to the thinking class.
When you tell them they are getting angry, don't be angry. Don't get angry, get rich. So in today's world, the 21st century requires us to become thinker. Have an idea, be innovative. Use your strong mind to create. Create. Leave school system alone. Leave these guys alone. Come and become a thinker. Come and create an idea. I told you, your purpose in life is to create, connect, and contribute. Create. You ask a man, what is your purpose in life? You run your purpose. Your purpose is to create. Create. Connect with people. Contribute. So if you're not making a contribution to the world, you actually so you create with your mind. Create with my mind. You produce physically. Produce physically. I've been telling you this is what God actually did. God created with his mind, produced with his hand. Creation in mind means you have to use your imagination. Imagination. It means an image nation. It means a picture nation. A nation that can create movie. So imagination means you have to creatively use your mind to arrange your thought in a sequential order of events that will produce the desired outcome. How am I so sure that that's how God created me and you? In Genesis 1, verse 27, God created man in his image and likeness. In Genesis 2, verse 7, God formed man out of the dust of the earth. So the day God created man in Genesis 1, So in 7 different day, he formed man out of the dust of the earth. The Bible says he came down, he formed man and breathed into man. Is that what the Bible says he did? Yes, that's what he did. So if you are going to be a creator like him, you are a creator like him because you are creating an image and likeness. You must sit down to create your life. Then use your hand to use your mouth to communicate to people that will do that. So we are teaching ourselves today that we actually have the power to create. That's the common ground. That is the thinking class, that everybody have equal opportunity. You have the power to create, solve problems, become a solution center. You become an innovative leader that will change the present economy in your favor. So two things happen. In the industrial age, we needed manpower, turn on manpower. In the industrial, in the digital age, you need manpower, turn on manpower. So working with your hands of course, working with your head. So you need to work from your head, not with your hands first. So we need a thinking class who is going to be rich in idea, in imagination, or creativity. This is very important as we round up today's class. Let's see. And we still have time now, Mr. Victor. This man is just giving me Jamie time. So that is very important. The oldest and most lucrative business in the world. Write it down your note. Very, very important. The oldest and the most, underline the word oldest and the most lucrative. Underline the word lucrative. Lucrative. The oldest and the most lucrative business in the world involve the exchange of ideas. That is why I'm telling you that everybody have equal opportunity. Let me check it because I need to go to that equal opportunity very soon. Let me end this class very well. So the oldest and the most lucrative business in the world is the exchange of ideas. Maybe after this class, I will talk about Solomon's business strategy. Solomon was just selling business idea. Solomon never even do anything with his hands. He sells by idea. People, kings come from everywhere. Ideas rules the world. Poor men ask for items. Wealthy men ask for ideas. There are ideas. Poor men ask for things. Wealthy men ask for thought. They're not thought. They ask for fruit. They ask for supply. Wealthy men ask for source and the seeds. So because we know ideas give birth to items. That is the truth about life. So the exchange, the most lucrative, the most oldest and lucrative business in the world involve the exchange of what? Idea. Give that idea, given that ideas are the source and genesis of every meaningful invention, industries, institute, and definitely it has been the safe trade in the whole wide world, sustainable and suitable for people who think. Write on your note, very important. Number one, write it like this. Ideas, creativity and imagination are the language of the spiritual world. Understand this, understand very important. Ideas, creativity, and imagination are the language of the spiritual world. So men who understand this, that the spiritual give birth to the physical. So we spend time sitting down to think, write down our thoughts. But we understand that ideas, creativity, and imagination is the language of the spiritual world. That everything you see in the physical was once in the idea of the mind of the entrepreneur. This marker was once an idea. The shoe you are wearing right now was an idea. The phone, the clothes, the chair you are sitting down right now was once an idea in the mind of the entrepreneur. So men that sit down to understand that they can turn their ideas into items. They sit down to turn natural things that God gave to them into the physical things that they want. They turn they turn trees to tables and chairs. Why? If you're going to eat on what God give you, you only survive because animals too survive. They eat banana, eat pawpaw. Animals in the bush, they don't need to create anything to survive. So if you're not creating, you're not different from animals in the bush who survive. No, your work is to turn what God gave you naturally into the things you want. To turn crude oil into petrol, diesel. To turn, of course, everything material you see. This book was once a tree. Man sit down to turn trees to books, paper. They can write. Man sit down to turn what is your own contribution to the world? As an entrepreneur, the world needs your contribution. Number two, write it down. Imagination converts raw materials into human utilities. Imaginations convert raw materials into human utilities. Bracket open, useful items. Imagination convert raw materials. Imagination convert raw materials into human utilities. Bracket open, useful items. Example is turning a tree to a boat, a tree to tables and chairs. Crude oil to through fractional distillation to get petrol, kerosene. So what men do, men need to sit down and create like a creator. We also turn every human being around you into entrepreneurs, into businessmen, into investors. You are supposed to turn men around you to knowing more of God. So you are not contributing. You are actually a liability. I said imagination convert raw materials into human utilities. Bracket open, useful items. Number three, ideas break through barriers. Every limiting barrier, marital barrier, business barrier, all the barriers you think, business, ministry, okay, think about it. You need idea. One idea away from it. Number three, ideas break through barriers. That's what ideas does. Ideas, imagination, creativity break through barriers. You don't need to pray alone. Prayer is not bad, but you don't need to depend on prayer alone. Prayer can never replace wisdom or knowledge. You need prayer as much as you need knowledge. So ideas break through barriers. Number four, ideas are the true source of commonwealth and human progress. Every progress a human being has made throughout the history of time was simply an idea. So ideas are the true source of commonwealth and human progress. Ideas are the true source of commonwealth. Ideas are the true source of commonwealth. This is an idea. This marker is an idea. The clothes are an idea. The phones, name it car, all idea. Even the aircraft, all ideas. Ideas are the true source of commonwealth and human progress. So, from the caveman to the documentary history to the painting on the walls to the Greek to the Roman philosophers to the Bible itself, 66 books were all taught on ideas. So you think about it. Every invention, industry, institution, product or services was once an idea in the mind of the entrepreneur. The genesis of all things is idea. Idea is a safe trade, sustainable and suitable trade for you, for everybody. You are too busy to think, my brother, you end up working for men that think. You are too busy to create your life, you end up working for men that create their life. You have the power, equal opportunity to create your life. Touch yourself, say, I am the boss. God speak his idea into existence, and the things became life. So what if God spoke everything into existence? How much more you? How much more you? Can't you just sit down to think and create? You're actually expression of your ideas in your mind. That is why you have to mind the words you say. Don't say negative things about yourself you don't want to become true. Because if anything you say is taken form already in your reality. Always say, I am strong, I'm healthy, I'm the head, I'm not the tail. Always describe yourself the way Gibbon describes you as an entrepreneur. Some people are too busy complaining and justifying, because they have this $1 million idea, they never act on it. God gave us trees and not tables and chairs. But ideas convert those trees to tables and chairs. And imagination and idea takes natural resources and convert them to human utility. If you think you are stuck in life, business, career, marriage, ministry, all you need is a breakthrough idea. Turn off breakthrough idea. So most times, what you think you need is not what really you need. If you think you need money most of the times, God actually needs to give you idea. So great ideas will transform your circumstances overnight and very quickly from broke to billions in a record-breaking time. We need ideas to take you from where you are to where you ought to belong. In the human progress, write it down to round up this class. Last statement for today, but not the least. Anyway, in the human progress, ideas facilitated through communications. In the human progress, ideas facilitated through human communications improves the world that we live today. In the human progress, ideas facilitated through communication improve the world that we live today. So, ideas in the human progress, ideas facilitated through communication improves the world we live today. So tomorrow we'll round up this class. We'll do the last two, equal opportunity and the act of conversion. In case you don't know how to convert your ideas into tangible products, we'll give you the strategy. So it simply shows you how to unlock the equal opportunities everybody have, which is the thinking class. That you belong to the thinking class, of course, that who can actually sit down to mentally create your life and communicate it, and men will act on it. It happens to me. I've looked for a job for 4 years after my youth service. One day I sat down and said, no, every company I go to, men own them. Can't I own one? Something changed in my life. That's that simple question. It brought a moment of light. I began to say, what are the books that every rich man I've read? I want to read it too. To find out that, I begin to discover so many things about myself. That's why I say that the good news is that you want to hide something from anyone, you hide it in the book. Most of them will not go through it. So I began to discover that I have the powers in my hand to create my life. And everything about my life started working. And I was so shocked, I was so surprised. When I was living in a compound in Face My Face You, I stood up to tell my compound people that, I can build a company and people can support me. They say, oh, God, you want to do one, we are supporting you already. Inside that compound, I used somebody who is doing masters, his certificate to go to NAFDAC. We went to NAFDAC. He actually was my production manager in my liquid soap company in Oka that time. NAFDAC gave me accreditation because of his. I now employed him by virtue to work with me. So I used his CV to do the analysis for me. And I took it to NAFDAC and get the factory. And NAFDAC gave me a number. So he actually worked for me. But it's just an idea. I just sharing it too. But I was so surprised that they believed in me. Mr. Chris was my first manager. He came to in Nnamdi Azikiwe University to do his masters. From Akwa State, from Ibesipo. So I met him now. I've had you know, the guy said, "Oh, you know, I'm looking for what to do." I said, "I get company. This company never existed anywhere. It's just in my mind. I just said I get company." He said, where you then? I see it in my mind. The guy didn't laugh. I said, "No, come. You can be my manager." There was no physical company anywhere. I only told him I have a company. He said, "Where?" I said, "In my mind." He said, "You're crazy." I said, "No, I'm not crazy. Come, sit down." That's how Chris became my manager. In fact, I even used part of resources to start up the business. So he prepared to collect paycheck. I was so surprised. In fact, I called two of my friends works in teaching hospital here. Dr. Godwin, a medical doctor. I called him. I called the other one. Kenny is in UK right now. Ogasio, I get idea. I need all of them. All my friends actually contributed money for me to start my face business. All of them brought money. All. Just because I was so convinced with about my idea. Dr. Godwin brought 300,000. Keren brought 300,000. All of them brought the money that I used to start the business to employ some of them. And they better work for me. Can you just imagine that? That was how I owned my first company called Furnished Vision Nigeria Limited. I never used one my one naira. My father brought money. My mother brought money. All my siblings brought money. I told him I'm the MD and the CEO. Say, where is the company? I say, it's in my mind. Say, no, in my mind. They all brought the money that I used to start my face business. And I employed some of them to work for me. They know money is good.
Money is good.
I use what they call OPM, other people's money. What did I say?
Other people's money.
Where did I get it from? I don't know idea. I just read one book that says think and grow rich. What does it called?
Think and grow rich.
My life worked for me. Thank you so much, online community. I really wish I have the luxury of time. Time is always my biggest challenge. So tomorrow, we'll teach you how the equal opportunity that you have. You give them tomorrow, equal opportunity. And she has to convert. You know, the act of conversion. Your ideas into things so they can actually take charge of your life. Stop complaining. You have all it takes. So God bless you, online community. Don't get involved in a business without a mentor. Mentorship is a legal shortcut to success. He that stands on the shore of mentors will see far. See you tomorrow. See you at the top. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Thank God for a brand new week. Shalom. That's the best we can take today. I really